It turns browsers into buyers, and it turns customers into lifelong superfans. Hi there, Kelsey Toner here, the founder of Guest Focused Tour Business Coaching, where every day myself and our team of experienced tour business mentors are helping you build a thriving, profitable tour business. Welcome back to our training series on the VIP marketing method. In this video, we're going to be looking at the I, or the intimacy, and how important that is to tour business marketing. As a reminder, this is a unique marketing framework optimized for tour, activity, and experience businesses. And it builds on our core philosophy of keeping your ideal target guests at the heart of everything you do in your tour business. A VIP marketing method has three core elements, V, I, and P. First, our marketing needs to be valuable. We need to provide genuine value to our ideal target guests through inspiring, educational, and entertaining content. Our marketing needs to be intimate, meaning we build trust, rapport, and loyalty with those ideal target guests by having meaningful and personal touch points and creating connections, community, and conversation. And finally, our marketing needs to be pervasive. We need to maintain a consistent multi-channel presence across many of the places that our ideal target guests are spending their time and attention. While each of these things are powerful on their own, the real secret sauce is when we can do all at once across the 5 stages of the traveler's journey. If we are able to do this, we are setting ourselves up with the VIP marketing methodology for momentum. We are setting ourselves up for more leads, more sales, and more profit. So let's talk intimacy. In tourism marketing, intimacy means creating a personal connection with your ideal target guests that goes beyond just selling a tour activity or experience to them. It's about making your customers feel seen, heard, valued, and appreciated. In our hyper-connected world, people paradoxically feel more disconnected and lonely than ever. Many tour business owners attempting to appear more professional, hide behind very polished brand images, behind flashy, overproduced emails, and squeaky clean corporate copy. But ultimately, I want to convince you that this is a losing proposition. Without intimacy, without a genuine human connection, your potential guests can feel like this is just about a transaction or just getting another sale. The truth is, people buy based on feelings, and connection is one of the strongest feelings there is. This is where the power of intimacy comes into your tour business marketing. By fostering real human-to-human connections, you set yourself apart. You're not just another tour business, but you're a group or a team of real people. You don't always necessarily have it all figured out, but you know what? You've got a mission, and hell, you care deeply about serving people at the highest possible level. This kind of intimacy, trust, and rapport is the difference between doing okay with your tour business and absolutely crushing it. It turns browsers into buyers, and it turns customers into lifelong superfans. To generate intimacy using the VIP marketing method, there's 3 broad categories. The first is that connection. That's what we've been talking about so far, emotional bonds with your ideal target guests. The second is a community. We want to foster a sense of belonging. We want to create a tribe. We want people sharing common challenges or common goals. Have that sense of belonging. Lastly is that conversation. If we can have dialogue and we can listen and empathize and have that feeling of being heard and that somebody that's out there listening and cares about us, that also will help build that intimacy. But as with all of our training, let's get practical with this. In this next section, we're going to go through each of the stages of the traveler's journey, i.e. that marketing funnel, and we're going to share some real-world examples of tour companies that are doing a great job of creating intimacy at each stage. Let's start with that dreaming phase. We talked about Peter and his Mystical Asia tours. These are multi-day tours for Australians to Vietnam. But notice here, even at the very top of the funnel, this is a lead magnet. But notice down at the bottom, what a nice personal note and photo from Peter to help highlight that this is a real human being that has put together this guide, a fellow Aussie Vietnam traveler that has been in your shoes. G'day, Peter here, founder of Mystical Asia Tours. I created this guide to help fellow Aussies just like you to explore Vietnam effortlessly and make the most of your trip. I love that Peter continues this across his other inspirational content at the top of his funnel. Here's a short YouTube video where he's highlighting some of the incredible sights you can see in Vietnam. Let's take a look.
All right, we're finally here. Check this out. I am on the Golden Hand Bridge. For me personally, this is a dream come true.
This isn't just generic B-roll or an AI thing that's been jumbled together. We saw Peter there and his genuine excitement of sharing this incredible place with his prospective guests. Peter continues this great work and nice personal touch across his video shorts, Facebook Reels, Instagram, and TikTok. For another best practice when creating intimacy at this stage, have a look at the way that we in the Guest Focus Coaching Program write our emails. This is an email template for after delivering a lead magnet. Notice the very personal tone. Hi there, this is Kelsey from BABG Tours with your free lead magnet. We put this together so you'd be able to key benefit. Click here to download it now. You see, here's the thing. I've always found my most memorable travel experiences have come from getting local recommendations. That's why we treat every single guest as if they were a close friend or family member coming for a visit. We'll show you where to get the best deals in town, share our favorite spots to grab a bite to eat, or even give you the straight talk on places to avoid or things that may be a bit overhyped. So whether you're visiting for the first time or returning with friends, it'd be our pleasure to share our home with you. You can learn more about our incredible experiences right here or meet some of our amazing team here. Kelsey T, founder, BABG Tours. P.S. One of the most common things we hear from our guests is that they wish they had booked a tour with us at the start of their visit. That way you can get the lay of the land and we'll set you up with some personalized recommendations. Now there's a number of very intentional things going on in that email, but just notice the personal and intimate tone that we're creating. And that is the first potential email that you're receiving from your tour business. Wow, oh wow. Do you start to see how we can develop intimacy across a number of different channels? My former employer, Backroads Tours, who does active biking and hiking tours around the world, does a great job with their inspirational content and having their guides even do Instagram takeovers where they're sharing some of the elements on trips. Let's have a quick look at one.
Good morning, my name is Trevor. We're here in the beautiful Grand Teton National Park. Today we're going to hike Cascade Canyon, one of the most iconic hikes in the park. Let's go have a great day.
Here in this dreaming phase, any type of quiz or assessment that you can have where there's a little bit of interaction, you can engage in that conversation, is a great way to collect some information from people and maybe point them in the right direction for a destination, a type of tour, activity, or experience. In this next section, let's have a look at the planning phase and some more real-world best practices. So while planning, your potential guests are researching, they're comparing options, and it's time to double down on those personal touches. Let's have a look again at Backroads, who have beautiful catalogs to give lots of inspiration for people on different types of active travel tours that they can take. But notice again, this nice personal touch. We've got a message from the founder, Tom, and his daughter. That's what kicks off the catalog, and we hear a little bit more about his mission. To create even more intimacy, notice how Tom put a beautiful story here where he tells the story of the founding of Backroads. Let's take a quick listen to get a sense for this nice personal touch.
We've got some sticky gears here. There we go. So I'll tell you how I started Backroads. 1979 was when I came up with the idea to do Backroads. I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada, working as an environmental planner. And about 2 in the morning, I woke up in the middle of the night with this idea that I wanted to take people on bike trips. I didn't know much about business, hadn't done that much bicycling. So I jumped into it, went on a 5,000-mile bike trip around the western United States, and ran our first trips in 1980 in Death Valley. It was definitely a, your quintessential garage startup. In fact, I lived in the garage that the office was in. The bikes were stored in the basement, and as we got a little bit bigger and we had more and more trailers out on the rather nice residential streets, we moved out just in the nick of time before our neighbors had had enough of us, I think. So.
I'd like you to take a moment and just notice what you were feeling while Tom was telling that story. First and foremost, he probably was holding your attention because he was using that story format. But again, imagine yourself trying to choose between a number of different bike tour companies, and there are many on offer. What you got there was a real nice personal connection, partly because Tom was kind of sharing his story, warts and all. Hey, look, when we started this, I didn't really know what I was doing. We were living in the garage. We kind of got out of there just in the nick of time. You see how we're creating a human-to-human connection. This is what we're talking about when creating intimacy with your brand, with the people in your business and your prospective customers. Patch Adventures, a multi-day tour operator started by my friends and colleagues, Matt and Rebecca, a great job here of telling their story over the years, the ups and downs of starting Patch Adventures together, some of their early publications and press, the ups and downs of COVID, and some of their favorite memories of building a multi-day tour business together as a husband and wife. On this corporate landing page from Vancouver Foodie Tours, we're going to meet Michelle, the founder, who's going to empathize and say, listen, I get it. Team building activities can often feel forced, and let's be real, kind of boring. But what if I told you we found a way to mix mouth-watering local eats, immersive storytelling, and a pinch of Vancouver culture into a 3-hour experience that actually leaves your team more connected? What a nice personal note that you could add into any sales page. Whether you're hosting food tours up like Midgie Moore, our wonderful guest-focused coach, who proudly proclaims that nothing makes me happier than leading a group of visitors or locals to discover all the wonderful bounty of Alaska's restaurants, fisheries, and breweries. Want to shine the light on your incredible team of tour leaders, guides, or experience hosts? Notice here how Broadway Up Close in New York does a phenomenal job of having the personalities of their guides shine through. Whether we're in a theater on a sidewalk, we are storytellers. Our green team is comprised of working actors, stage managers, who in addition to their history and anecdotes are going to share some of the behind the scenes access that they have to Broadway. And we click in, look at this incredible photo shoot, having a lot of fun. And they're even sharing some of their favorite Broadway shows, favorite theater, and some tips for when they come to the Big Apple for a tour, activity, or experience. How about the ways we can build community or conversation here in the planning stage? Well, one of my friends, Walter from Walter's Way Tours, does multi-day tours to Ireland. And he would get up every morning, he told me, and put on a cup of tea. And he would go into a couple of Facebook groups that were dedicated for Americans who are planning their visits over to Ireland. And Walter would go in there and not say, hey, buy my shiny stuff, but he would simply listen and engage with some of the people who were asking questions. He would give them tips, best practice advice, and in his bio, he would simply say, hey, we help people have the best possible experience when they're visiting Ireland. If you'd like to learn more, you can obviously check that out. Walter shared with me that this strategy alone of having these intimate, personal, one-on-one connections led to dozens and dozens of leads and over 200,000 or 300,000 euros in sales in just one calendar year. Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups are a great way to bring people together around a shared challenge and solve it together, or offer some free content in the form of a mini course, or maybe have some of your team in there and facilitating. You don't always have to be participating in other people's groups. We can sometimes create those groups ourselves. And finally, webinars and live events, either virtual or in person, are a great way to bring people together, offer value in a really interactive way. And then, of course, have that brief call to action at the start and the end with an offer or an invitation to check out your tours, activities, and experiences. Here at the bottom of the funnel, or the booking stage, guests haven't yet made that final decision. So we need to be there to urge them over the edge and, just like Backroads does here, do everything we can to get people the information they need to make their decision. You can see here lots of, essentially a giant help center on finding your trip, booking your trip, getting ready for the trip, what to expect during your trip, some of our policies around cancellation, and getting clarity before making your final purchase. Notice here on the specific multi-day tour page from Provence to the French Riviera bike tour, if we scroll down, we can download a more detailed itinerary. This follows the best practice that we recommend in the Guest Focus coaching program. But notice here, we'll need to select a departure date. This is a fairly sophisticated software. And then we even have an email capture where they could follow up with us and send some maybe custom follow-up or even a personal email from some of their sales staff. But notice here about this detailed itinerary. What an incredible document that not only goes through and gives information about each day of this trip, so people can have more confidence in knowing what they're getting, but then they give information on arriving and departing, how to make flight arrangements. I love down here, they have an entire section on destination details, information about the climate, other considerations in terms of travel documentations or visa, how to get fit for your bike tour. Maybe that's a concern, and where to stay before and after your trip. All of this information helps your potential guests get the information they need to make a decision. Another key thing to keep in mind is people are going to be looking at customer testimonials, and your online reputation matters a great deal. Another opportunity for intimacy. If we put in Patch Adventures, we see a number of great Google reviews. Do you think it would be worthwhile to go in and respond to these reviews and have a nice personal note from the founder Absolutely. We see this echoed on the Patch Adventures reviews page on their Facebook page. What an opportunity to go in and reply to some of these reviews. At this stage, we can also build some intimacy even through paid retargeting ads, where we see here Patch Adventures sharing a sneak peek at the Patchy experience, but ultimately sharing a testimonial from a happy customer. 5 reasons when you should travel with Patch Adventures, and thinking of joining us on a Patch trip, here's a few more of your questions answered. At this stage in the customer journey, being ready for those conversations is more important than ever. It might be that final peace of mind that there's a real human being at the other end of this business. So having a chatbot on your tour sales page where those ideal target guests can reach out just to get that final confirmation, or perhaps a phone number prominently displayed. At this stage, we want to be there when our guests have those final questions or need that final peace of mind. For the final 2 stages with experiencing and sharing, it's in some ways easier to have some of that intimacy because they're going to be there with you. So of course, we want to wow and delight. And at the same time, keep in mind before and after their experience is a great way to have that nice personal touch. I know many multi-day tour operators where the guide will send a quick text or group message to their guests, getting them excited, clarifying those last minute details. Larger, more established companies like Backroads may even have individual trip apps to have the itinerary details at their fingertips. With this Backroads apps, guests have at their fingertips route maps, elevation profiles, daily snapshots, local guides, inside scoops, and recommendations from their tour leaders. For a lower tech version, notice how Patch Adventures uses private Facebook groups to build camaraderie, communication, and intimacy between their guests. In the sharing phase, Backroads has guest photo contests where they can win prizes and share some of their favorite memories on social media. You can also consider loyalty programs where past guests can get milestone gifts, trip credit, or perhaps discounts and other VIP perks. I hope this deeper exploration of best practices used by real-world tour operators around the world to build trust, rapport, and loyalty with their ideal target guests has been inspiring. The VIP marketing method is reliant on building this intimacy with every piece of content that you create. I want your mind to be thinking anytime I've got that touch point, anytime I'm sharing something, how could I add a layer of personality, of human to human connection? How can I create community? How can I create connection? And how can I create conversation? In our next training video, we're going to look at the final letter, the pervasiveness that is going to bring everything all together. Before you go, let me know in the comments down below. Did you have an aha moment? Do you have other ideas about how to create that connection with some of your leads? I would absolutely adore it if you would share it in a comment down below. The other thing that I would adore is if you found value in this training video. It would mean the world to me if you shared it with other colleagues, friends, and help spread the word on what we're doing here. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.